Hello you fantastic people, and welcome back to another Borderlands 3 video. Hope you guys are all doing well. In this one, a super exciting one which I'm super keen to bring to you guys. This one is FL4K's 4th skill tree. Full overview of it for you guys because this thing was announced a couple of days ago on the Bordercast show, the stream, and it had a full overview as well as some gameplay, all that good stuff. But I wanted to leave it a couple of days so I could have a good look at it myself, see what kind of builds we can make with this at level 65, all that good stuff. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys the full tree itself, go through each one, what I think about each of them, how I think some of them can be combined to make really awesome builds. Actually, quite a few different builds as well, which I'm super keen to bring to you guys on November 10th and onwards, because I don't think there's anybody that makes more FL4K builds in this community. So let's just say your boy is up there with one of the most excited people for this tree to come out. But yeah, let's jump into FL4K's skill tree, the 4th one coming out on November 10th for you guys. It is a DLC, by the way, a paid DLC. Not sure how much it costs. I don't think they've announced that one yet, unfortunately. I don't have early access either, by the way. There's a ton of content creators that have early access, I think like a month in advance or something crazy like that. But I personally don't. If you guys want to check out what I'm looking at right now, which is FL4K's skill tree in its entirety, and you get like 65 points to spend it however you want and work out builds, etc. This is just on the Borderlands website. Just type in borderlands.com, go to characters, FL4K, you can go to any character and it'll have the skill trees up once they've announced them. But yeah, essentially we're going to use this to read through them all, check them all out, see which ones are going to work well together in different builds, and which ones are going to be the new best skills in this amazing tree. Starting off with the action skill for the new purple tree, it is Gravity Snare. FL4K tosses out a trap that knocks up and temporarily stuns nearby enemies. After being deployed, the trap periodically continues to knock up and stun enemies, essentially yeeting them into the air every once in a while. While standing near the trap, press E or whatever button is on console for you guys to pick up the trap. That means you can start your action skill and then pick the trap up to end your action skill whenever you want, which is really, really cool. Ending the action skill early, refunding a portion of the remaining duration. So you get your action skill back quicker if you want to start it, use it for that little area, pick it up and get that cooldown back a lot faster, which is really cool. Personally myself, I'll have to try it out and see how it works. I don't see myself picking this action skill over, for example, fade away or rack attack in particular. Those two seem to just be more all-round action skills. The gravity snare, for example, doesn't work against bosses at all from what I've seen or what I've heard. But it might be, you know, something I switch to in a particular build. I might use fade away and then switch to gravity snare depending on what mobbing situation I am. But yeah, really keen to see how this works in game. As for augments for this action skill, the first one is Forage. Whenever an enemy is trapped by FL4K and is knocked into the air, they drop ammo, health boosters, and shield boosters. Now for endgame FL4K, I don't really see that as a huge necessity. Not really something I'm going to pick, to be honest. But for a playthrough, that could be really, really useful. The second one is Wide Net. This one does seem very, very useful. FL4K's trap gains increased duration as well as a radius. The radius is actually huge on this. It's going to be a lot more useful in, for example, the takedowns, etc. When there's a large group of enemies, they're not in a small area. They're usually a little bit more spread out. So that radius and duration as well is going to be a lot more helpful. Third one here is Trap Card. If FL4K would go into 5 heal life while their trap is readied, they automatically throw a trap at the enemy that downed them. That's really good, particularly in, honestly, any Borderlands game. Whenever enemies down you, they seem to be really good at running away and going into cover. So if you have the trap, that's going to immediately drop. One, just activating it for you. That's very helpful in 5 heal life. But it's going to trap them, throw them up into the air. So if they're behind cover, you're going to be able to shoot them and get yourself up with that, which is really cool. The fourth one is Blind with Anger. FL4K's trap no longer knocks enemies or stuns enemies. Instead, the trap confuses nearby enemies, causing them to attack the allies for a short time. Once deployed, the trap continues to periodically confuse enemies for the duration. Now, if you're going to use this one, I don't think you're going to be able to use Forage because you're not going to be knocking things into the air anymore. You won't be getting those bonuses. I think the one to go for is Wide Net for the increased duration and a radius in particular. And especially because I don't think it's worth confusing an enemy if you've downed them. I think you just want to shoot them to get yourself back up again. So I think if you're going to go this one, pretty sure your only other option you can want to go for is Wide Net. Now, as for abilities you spend skill points on, agility training is one I'm actually super keen for in this tree. It's not even damage, it's not survivability, it's reload speed, which is amazing. FL4K and FL4K's pet gain increased reload speed 40% with 5 points. That's really, really cheap and very, very efficient. For example, in the red tree, we've got Second Intention, which let's put 5 points into that. That's only 13% reload speed, and if you get a critical kill, it's maximum 36%, and you have to be getting critical kills for that. This is all the time and 40% for the same price, which is really, really cool. And it's on entry level as well. So you don't really have to be fully spec'd into Purple Tree just to pick this up for any other build. The second one, Success Imminent. When Flak or their pet's shield breaks or is filled, they and their pet create a Radiation Nova. This skill has a short cooldown. Now the damage on this thing, I'm keen to find out how useful it is, how much damage it actually does, but I'm all about Nova damage at the moment, if I'm going to be honest. Using a lot of rack attack builds, using those really well scaled Mayhem 10 Novas like the Frozen Heart, the Nova Burner. There's a ton for the melee 1 takedown. It's really, really fun at the moment being able to spam those with the anointment. So having a secondary Nova, which both you and your pet use, is going to be amazing. Particularly when we combine this one with something else later on the tree. Super keen for that. The third one, a Sonic reference, gotta go fast, love it. Flak's pet gains increased movement speed and damage. That is the first skill which is going to be really helping out pet builds. Doesn't necessarily have to be a fully focused pet build, which, by the way, if you do it, seems like it's going to slap now, which I'm all about. But that's just an extra thing you can add to make Flak's pet a really good sidekick to do a ton of damage, and movement speed is really, really helpful for them as well. Moving down in the tree, better toys. Flak and their pet gains increased shield recharge rate, and a recharge delay is improved by a substantial amount. That personally, not a big deal to me. I don't usually stress too much about recharge rate or delay, if I'm going to be honest, but there does seem to be a ton of shield bonus abilities in here, which you combine them all together. Seems like it's going to be extremely survivable boy. Moving on though, we've got Combat Veteran. Whenever Flak shoots the same enemy that pet is attacking, Flak's pet gains a portion of the damage dealt back as health. Now this originally didn't seem to be like any interest to me whatsoever. I felt like if pet's attacking somebody and I shoot it, it's not going to be like a big deal. It's only really going to be small. I was thinking very small. But if you use attack commands properly now, which seems to be much more incentivized in this tree, for example, get pet to attack Wotan, that's going to be a substantial amount of damage you're going to be able to do, and getting a ton of lifesteal back. 30% lifesteal is really, really good for that. Moving into the Throat Ripper Hunt skill, which is going to be boosted by a big game, by the way. Flak's pet attacks have a chance to score a critical hit, dealing increased damage. 15% critical chance. That is a Megavore for pet, which is a really, really good. Can be combined with other things later on in the tree, but that is really, really cool. Megavore for Flak, of course, an amazing capstone on the yellow tree, or the red tree even, is 20% Flak. Now we have a 15% Megavore for pet, which is awesome for a bunch of different reasons. Moving down, Flak's pet gains a copy of Flak's shield. This is going to be really, really good. Ton of different ideas for this. Like I was saying before, there's a ton of Nova shields out at the moment, which I'm keen to try and put on Flak's pet and try out, for example, the Frozen Heart shield. Combine that with what I said before, Success Imminent, extra Radiation Novas. Looks like we're going to be doing a ton of Nova damage, including radiation as well. There's actually a ton of different shields I want to try out with this as soon as we get access on November 10th. Me and chat on live stream last night were working out whether or not the anointments would work on the shields. We don't think the anointments on the shields are going to work with pet at the moment, unfortunately. Keen to see maybe they update that in the future, but at the moment I don't think they work, if you guys are wondering that. Also, that was a big topic in chat last night. The next one, Lethal Force Authorized. I don't know why that was such a tongue twister for me. Whenever Flak's Loaderbot pet would go into 5PL life, it turns into an XP loader exploder instead, and seeks out nearby enemies before self-destructing, dealing damage to all nearby enemies. Flak's pet respawn time is reduced. This is awesome, and just being able to command pet to just go blow that enemy up over there, that's going to be really, really cool. Plus, you're going to be able to get pet back faster by doing that. So one, that's really good for many different situations in many different builds. Having Flak's pet back all the time is really good for damage and really good for survivability as well. So being able to do that, he was going to go down anyway. I'm not going to stop to revive him, let's be real. Let him blow something up and he's going to be back even faster. That is an awesome ability, in my opinion, at least. Now, Monkey Do, this one's a really, really cool one. Flak's pet gains increased critical hit damage, which is always good by me, more damage. Whenever Flak's pet scores a critical hit, Flak's next shot deals bonus damage based on their weapon's damage. This is an amazing ability. Current effect at 5 points, pet critical hit damage 70%, and bonus damage 70% of weapon damage. This is really, really amazing because we're going to pair this with Throat Ripper, essentially Flak's pet's version of Megavore, to hit critical hits regularly, and we're going to be getting a ton of bonus amp damage. Now, I didn't think there was going to be much damage in this tree because it seemed to be all survivability and awesome damage for pet, but that is a significant amount, 70% bonus damage, just because pet hit a critical hit. That's going to be pretty damn good. Moving on to Woolly Armor, cute AF skag, by the way. While Flak's shield are full, their pet gains damage reduction, which is awesome. I'm thinking immediately Red Fang builds. Essentially, you don't really take damage. You don't really get shot at all, to be honest, in Game Burst builds if you're using Red Fang, because Flak's pet is taking all of the enemy's attention, essentially, to getting them to all shoot him, and getting a 75% damage reduction for them is going to be amazing for survivability, and it only costs 1 point, so a ton of points you spend elsewhere in, for example, the blue tree to keep Flak's pet healthy. Put 1 point in there, instantly he's got a huge amount of survivability. Moving on to Not Even a Challenge. Whenever Flak's pet kills an enemy, Flak gains increased action skill duration, awesome, and action skill cooldown rate for a short time. This effect stacks. At 5 points, you get cooldown rate 35% and action skill duration 35% bonus, duration of 12 seconds, and max stacks 10. That is absolutely amazing. Having action skill duration is a first for Flak. I'm super down for that. Cooldown rate is 2 other places in the trees, but if you're going to be going this far down a pebble tree, maybe you don't make it to those ones in the other ones. And having a duration is really, really cool. I want to definitely try that out with Fadeaway, Gorillas in the Mist. I want to see how long we can stay in there. Super keen to try that one out. Moving down to Keep Them Safe. Whenever Flak issues an attack command, if Flak or their pet's shield is less than half full, a portion of Flak and their pet's shield, that's a mouthful, are restored. This skill has a short duration. There you go. That's the incentive to use attack command, which I was talking about at the start of the tree. Essentially giving you a reason to use it ever. I personally don't. I'm really keen to try this one out with the new Terra Annoyance to get that bonus damage. I just want to see pet absolutely go off. Really keen to try that one out. Moving over to probably one of the most anticipated skills in this entire tree, Fuzzy Math. Whenever Flak or their pet scores a critical hit all the damn time with Flak, a portion of Flak and their pet's shields are restored. Current effect at 5 points, 15% maximum shields just for hitting a critical hit. In case you're not a Flak main or you've never played Flak before ever, Flak is critical hit damage. That's exactly what he does, and having Gorillas in the Mist, for example, guarantees critical hits. If you hit the enemy, instant critical hit. So you get that all the damn time, and this is essentially Flak immortality right here. Fuzzy Math is going to be amazing. You get a Monarch, you get a Hellwalker, anything with multiple pellets, high fire rate, Light Show, for example. All of those things are going to keep Flak's shield at max all the damn time. So keen to try that one out and see just how much immortality we can have with Flak whilst trying to maintain the damage as well. And the Capstone Capacitance, if I pronounce that right. Whenever Flak activates their action skill, totally down for that. I love action skill start. Anointments, skill points, all that good stuff. They gain greatly increased shield capacity for a short time, immediately begin recharging their shields. This skill has a short cooldown. Shield capacity increased by 100% for 1 point. Duration 16 seconds, cooldown 16 seconds. That is kind of amazing. I don't know if we're really going to need more shield capacity once we already have this, but hey, maybe you don't spend it on that. Maybe you just pick up the easy increased capacity for 1 point. Maybe you've spent it somewhere else in the tree, but it's good to have options. That is a really good ability by itself, particularly for a 1 point capstone. Really, really amazing. Super keen to try out all of these in a ton of different combinations with the builds we have and make new ones as well. Now, another one which I kept to last because I'm super, super keen about it is the pet. Loaderbot, I think it's going to be the new best pet for Flak, and I'm super keen to just make pet builds, but also have him as an awesome sidekick without sacrificing any of Flak's damage and Flak's survivability. Essentially, the first one is Pet Iron Loader. Flak is joined by a loyal mini Iron Loader bot companion armed with a shock sniper rifle, which is a Hyperion sniper, by the way, and homing shock orbs that can be shot to trigger a shock nova. Essentially, he shoots them out, you can shoot them, and they do a giant nova, which is pretty cool. All accompanied by an Iron Loader, Flak gains increased elemental damage resistance. Little strange, never had elemental resistance before. Maybe that might help us out with barrels or something like that. Down for it. Hold F to issue attack command, which causes Iron Loader to fire a powerful eye laser at the enemy. Sounds kind of cool. He is, of course, the first pet, so he's not going to be the strongest one. These next two are going to be kind of insane. The next one is Bull Loader. Flax Iron Loader upgrades into a Bull Loader, discarding its sniper rifle and equipping a shotgun. Hell yes. Flax Bull Loader also gains increased damage resistance and a powerful roundhouse melee attack. Keen to see that. That sounds awesome. While accompanied by Bull Loader, Flax shield capacity is increased by 20%. That is a significant bonus there. When Flak issues an attack command, the Bull Loader briefly turns into a bulldozer and charges at enemies and knocks them up into the air, which sounds like a pretty awesome attack command to bother using. I personally don't use attack commands for the other pets so far. Keen to try that one out for sure. Moving on to what I think is going to be the best one, War Loader. Flax Iron Loader upgrades to a War Loader, discarding its sniper rifle and equipping a fire shotgun, hell yes, and grenades. Doesn't specify here, but it is your grenade that you have spec'd, so you can have your shield and your grenade on pet. That sounds like an amazing combination. For example, I'm thinking Gas Coals, I'm thinking Hunter Seekers that just got buffed. That's gonna be amazing for sure. Whilst accompanied by War Loader, Flak gains increased fire rate. Totally down for that. Fire rate means damage per second increase. Totally down for that. Whenever Flak issues an attack command, the War Loader unleashes a barrage of missiles at the target. Again, like I said, using attack command actually seems to be incentivized all of a sudden. Totally down. Want to see how that works again with the Terror Annoyance for the attack command. Would recommend picking those up, by the way, while you still have time for when this skill tree comes out, and then actually is going to be very useful by the sounds of it. Now that isn't it. There's actually a couple more things across Flak skill tree that's going to be updated on November 10th. It has to do with Blue Tree. A lot of people actually miss this even when they have early access, because it's actually on the Borderlands website. That's where it was found. There's two different skill points in here that have been changed. Not in game yet, but it will be a free update again on November 10th. The first one being Shared Spirit. This thing now reads, if you've never used this or haven't used this recently, now reads, while Flak is at low health, a portion of all damage they take is converted to healing their pet instead. I'll read it again. Any damage that is taken by Flak when at low health is converted into healing Flak's pet, rather than what it used to be when you were at low health, you took damage, pet copped the damage for you and took like 50% like it is now. Rather than that, it's healing them, which originally pet could just tank the damage for you and it was pretty much the same. I honestly thought it was a pretty good ability, but now it's actually just healing pet, which is kind of ridiculous. Pet is going to be super, super healthy if you put that in there as well. The second thing, the more important thing, is the worst capstone in the entirety of Flak skill trees anywhere, anytime ever. No one has ever used this unless they were trying to give themselves a challenge, honestly. Dominance has sucked the entire time. It's been over a year. No one's ever wanted to use it, but now they've updated it and apparently it slaps. It now reads, whenever Flak attacks enemy with a melee attack, which is what it was originally, but now changed to, or scores a critical hit with a weapon whilst aiming down sights, it is going to proc dominance. That's kind of amazing. They establish dominance over an enemy, turning it into an ally for a short time. If the enemy is a beast, the duration is doubled. That is kind of amazing. It means you're going to be able to proc that all the time. You're not going to be relying on using a face puncher or actually bothering going up and hitting things, which is cool. Actually using that ability some more. Now that's actually not it. That doesn't make it a really viable capstone over the others yet, I don't think, but it adds more. While under the effect of dominance, other enemies are more likely to attack it, and it constantly loses health until it dies or the effect ends. Once dominance ends, a radiation nova is centered on the enemy. Only one enemy can be under the effect of dominance at a time, and an enemy may only be affected once. That radiation nova sounds like it's going to be kind of amazing. I've heard it's really, really good from those who have early access, and actually makes the dominance skill not complete garbage. I really want to try it out and see how it works, particularly now there's more novas. That is 3 different novas we can have at once. We can have novas on enemies just randomly out throughout the battlefield, which we're going to be able to proc pretty much all the time, because who doesn't hit critical hits with Flak and aiming down sights? I do with most guns, but I can definitely do it on purpose if need be. You're going to have somebody proccing novas off all the time. You can have pet proccing novas. I'm going to be doing novas all the time with my shields with rack attack. That sounds like a dangerously awesome amount of damage. But yeah, that is everything that has changed in the skill trees, plus the new 4th skill tree that's coming out on November 10th, which I'm super, super keen for. It's going to be amazing for pet builds. I think it's going to be a good survivability tree without sacrificing too much damage. There is some damage in there. Plus, it's going to be really good for URAD builds because increased shield, we're not going to have to worry about the health gate whatsoever being at completely zero. I'm super keen to try it out on November 10th, make a ton of builds for you guys on the channel. If you guys did find this video helpful or enjoyable, don't forget to smash subscribe down below. Helps me out a ton, and I actually found out 90% of people that watch my videos this month aren't subscribed. So if you want to help me out a ton, I really appreciate it. If you guys want to leave any comments down below, let me know what you guys think of the new skill tree, what builds you guys are going to make from this. I'm super keen to make a ton of them for you guys on the channel. Other than that, we have a Twitch that I stream to every night after I post my YouTube videos. I have a Discord with awesome people in it, and I also have a Twitter. Always linked down below for you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys in the next video and a live stream. Till then, adios.